raise my eyes to the wild blue yonder. I can't believe what I see, and it makes me wonder why it's falling down on me. The sky, the sky, the sky's falling. The sky, the sky, the sky's falling. The sky's falling.
Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. There's so much going on, so many lies every which way. It seems like, let me just open this one. Everybody out there just likes to tell stories, dream, fantasize, and twist everything that's really happening. First off, people, no matter what people say, orbs are real. And there are multiple kinds of ships. They could be anything from a giant ship to a small ship. They could be anything from an entity to an alien. All right. It's a futuristic way of traveling. All right. I'm not going to say everything about it, but I want to bring out the most important things going on right now. In New Jersey, all right, they've been dealing with orbs for a couple months now. The Army's chasing them, can't catch them, can't find where they're coming from. Well, the first thing is they can go into the ground without leaving a hole. They can go anywhere as fast as they want. Second of all, they can be any size, any color, any shape. They are not drones. And that's all you're going to be hearing. They're chasing drones. And who's flying these drones? Don't forget, people will be putting drones up in the air. But that's not... All of my other half. Being blocked. You know, all right, well, she's being blocked from coming on. We've been getting harassed lately a lot from who knows who, what part of what government, what part of whoever. But the truth is out there. Nobody wants to hear it. They want to believe what they want to believe. They got the UFO world crashing with lies, nothing but lies and stories. Yes, UFOs are real. There's multiple shapes, multiple sizes as well. The orbs become like transportation when they come into this realm, onto planet Earth and things like that to travel around. But the problem is the orbs themselves have not been hurting people, attacking people, which aliens in their ships are doing. All right. Multiple ships come down low enough, and here in Hawaii, we have so much going on, all kinds of ships, and nothing's being said about it. And if it's spotted, oh, it's just some freak of this in nature, not real, and blah, blah, blah. Well, my friend next door just filmed 12 ships coming out of the ground, going about 100 feet up in the air, circling, and then shooting out into space. But there's people that I deal with. I got the whole neighborhood looking up at the sky, mostly early morning. A mothership came over Hawaii last year, about 2 blocks long, and they never said a word about that. I watched 2 ships get shot down. They never said anything about that. One ship came down, was going across the sky. I'm not sure what really happened to it, but it shot 3 ships out of it, and then it kind of like just blew up, whether it was shot down or what. But again, they said, oh, it was Russian space debris falling from a 1954 shuttle. Really, with flames shooting out of it, traveling across the sky full speed and then shooting things out of it. You know, the government will never release the truth. I don't care what Stephen Greer is. He's the biggest fool out there in the UFO world. Sorry. I will challenge him on any day, any second about anything he says. It's all bull. He talks about the future and peace and energy and all that. It's not going to happen. Aliens are here, and they're coming in a great way now, more so than ever in history. I could go out early morning and film 10 ships in a half hour. What they're doing, there's always orbs, balls of light, following them, and then they shoot out and different things. It's a lot of things going on. But I'm going to say this. Years ago, I was out in a convention, and I went on a native journey of the waters thing as well. So I was gone for a couple of weeks. But when I stopped in Joshua Tree, all right, it was a trip. And then I was traveling from California to Mexico to a couple other places. But in the interim, I was going down a mountain. I had to stay there because I was waiting for the plane. So I stayed in a hotel and I went out. And every plane that I saw flying over the sky, I'm talking in the night, these little orbs would come up to the back of it, follow it for a little way, and then shoot out. But as that happened, my cameras were frozen. All right. Now, and I'm going to say this, people, if you're trying to film things, if they want you to see it, they will let you see it. If they don't want you to see it, they won't let you see it. The most incredible things I ever saw in my life were blocked. Even in Hawaii, I was downtown at the end of the town, right before the mountains, and I was trying to go to my bank, but it was closed. This giant triangle ship came right out of the mountain, right above my head. I had 2 cameras on me, took them both out, both wouldn't do anything. Made the hardest, noisiest sound. It felt like my eardrums were blowing out as it went above my head, but it was gone in 4 seconds. I went down to town, which was only like a quarter of a mile away, and tried to ask a few people, did you hear that? Did you see that? And they said, what? We didn't hear nothing. And the sound is directly straight down under it, so it doesn't go forward or backwards. When it's gone, you don't hear it, but it went out really high into the sky, so it just disappeared. But that's just one of the things. But now, I spent my whole life dealing in the UFO world. When I was younger, I wasn't dealing with orbs. I was dealing with basically an alien and a ship. But I also had some ball light. I guess we could call that an orb. When I was in the hospital, my brother and the ball light was coming right up to the window, shooting this beam into the bedroom, the hospital room. At my brother, he was in the crib on the other side of the room. And I jumped out of mine and ran over to the window and put my hands up on the window right in front of the beam, and that ship shot straight back out into the sky. But, orbs have been here. I mean, when the jets used to fly in the old days, they called them Foo Fighters, and they saw them, and they never did anything. But in reality, whether they're drones for some ships, whether they're actual entities inside them and things like that, they're all different, and they all take different shapes, speeds, and color. Now, I was with a person for many years. We went public in 1997 in New York City. He was lecturing, and I was filming the whole crowd inside the room, and then we showed all the pictures with orbs on them at the end of it. All right, and there was a woman in there with this beam of light coming down, and I have a picture of that. At the end of the seminar, she never left the room. Never saw her again leaving the room. Not sure how that happened, why, or whatever, but never got to see her, talk to her, catch her before she left. But we were lecturing around the United States, and we were taking people out to film orbs at night and things like that. We're talking from 97 to 2000. I mean, we were trying to get people to see them, film them. And the picture you see up on the cover, on the front of my show, is a picture of me dancing with all the orbs around me. Now, that was shot with 3 different cameras. But people, they're real. They're not drones. And right now, they're not hurting people. There could come a time, because there's so many of them everywhere, they could do whatever they want. I mean, I do believe they do come from ships, and they come down to investigate, to watch, to do whatever they do. But they come to feelings, emotions, they come for a lot of different reasons. But what I'm going to say is probably the truth, whether you want to believe it or not. 95% of all the speakers out there have nothing important to say. If it's 50 years old, it has nothing to do with what's happening now. If it's 25 years old, it has nothing to do with what's happening right now. Right now, we're in trouble. All right. Aliens are not good people, never were, never did anything for the human race in all of our history. I mean, now in the UFO world, we have a horrible word. I wish my other half was coming on, but they're blocking her in England. She has ships over her house every single night. She's been abducted most of her life, people, and she's the top speaker in the UFO world for abduction right now. She's going on tour with a bunch of scientists around the world, but she's very sick. She also is radioactive, and by that, it's not normal radioactivity because she goes up and down with the level of it. Once in a while, she doesn't have it, but she has all the symptoms of radiation poisoning. I'm not going to go into all of them, but she's been in the hospital almost every other month, and she had something cut out of her stomach. She wasn't allowed to even know it or see it. They film every operation in England, and when they cut it out, they wouldn't let her see it. They said to her it was too controversial. To cut something out of my stomach, it's too controversial. And then after fighting with Congress and trying to get to watch the video, they sent her a letter saying, don't worry, it was only a birth control device. Inside her stomach, this big, really? And that's just one of the things. Then when she has multiple problems now, they're trying to go in her heart, her brain, and everywhere else. But in her pelvic bone, she has multiple holes all through both of her pelvic bone. And the doctors say that's impossible. How could it, where, and blah, blah, blah. Well, they have no clue. Don't accept the idea she's been being abducted many times. But with that being said, she's put 2 books out, a couple other books, but I'm talking about UFO books that are really important, explaining abduction in the UFO world, which is really pathetic. All these people trying to get names and being part of it and everything else. They use the word experiencer. If you talk to them, they'll say, oh, they met aliens and they were taken up in stone cities and blah, blah, blah. All right, not one of them has real proof. Second of all, the stories they tell are ridiculous because the human body can't travel to these other universes and anything else in between that. All right, I can go into a short story, maybe I will at the end, but the human body can't travel at that speed. All right, never mind, they're taking him somewhere to show him what? Cities and everything else. Why? Is it going to do anything beneficial to them or the world? No, because it's all lies. They're programming people. When a person gets abducted, and this was happening since the 1950s, when Truman made deals with aliens and things like that, whether you want to hear it or not, they made deals that can only take 10,000 people a year, which is another lie. But when they take them, they weren't allowed to remember what happened. And that went on for a pretty long time. When Bonnie Hill came out and they said what happened, it was, uh-oh, they're aware of what really happened now. And then all kinds of other deals were made. And that's when they decided to implant ideas and thoughts into a person's brain. One of the most famous people, not most famous, but really famous person in the UFO world claims he was with aliens. They showed him the past, present, and future. Obviously, it was a video they showed him in his consciousness that wasn't real. And the things he said never. That claim they're working with aliens, say things. It will not happen. Except one person, Billy Myers. I got into multiple conversations with him. His spokesperson, Michael Horn. But again, I even brought him on my show. But he's afraid to talk about certain things, and he says all this other stuff. Well, Billy Myers was the first person releasing all these videos of ships over his house and going around circles over his house, introducing the Pleiadians and things like that. But he kind of pulled back way back. He's not public now or anything, but he did a couple stupid things to bring down his credibility. He made a fake spaceship that looked just like what he was filming. I mean, even Jane Fonda's went out there. Oh, not Jane Fonda's. The one that did the movie. Hold on, I can't think of her name. Sorry, well, it was a woman that came out there to buy him out and to be like take ownership over him. Never happened. But in the interim, when the photographers came out, they tried to prove the level where the ship was, how it was moving around a tree, going around in circles. You know, aliens must be pretty dumb if that's all they can do, and that's all they were doing at that time. But I feel he had connections. And getting back to what I was trying to get to, he was given 100 prophecies. 100. 98 of them came true in the past since he put it out there. He gave it to every government on the planet, and he sent it around the world. So he didn't change it, rearrange it, or anything. But everything he said on that came true, except the last couple that he prophesized. And I don't know, they could have came true. But he has an incredible following. I mean, people do meditations and go with the noise of the ship and go into this trip thing. And I mean, but he's nowhere to be found right now. A friend of mine, 2 friends of mine are both dead. Brought him to California. During that time frame, a ship came over California where they were when he was there with them. But in the interim, he wouldn't stay. They were trying to get him to stay there. They tried bribing him with a lot of different things, but then he went back to his country. But again, that's one person. But now we got people that are really tearing apart at the UFO world, making it sound incredible, making it sound good and bad, but it's only bad. Nothing good will come out of alien invasion, alien connection. If you watch the movie V, the second one, they cover the planet with their ships, and they say, we're going to help you and everything. They start working with people, bringing them up, training them and different things. But in the end, the queen is laying eggs inside the ship and all that. But it's not going to be good, even if they say they're going to help us. Help us what? They helped Mr. Tesla, and I'm saying this publicly again because people don't listen. Tesla worked with an alien race. He was given 200 inventions, but sadly, 50 of them were the most deadliest weapons ever made and were given to the United States government, which they are playing with right now. And they're even using them on the United States people, for real. Now, if you know anything about what's going to happen, these are the things that are happening. UN Agenda 30, all right, says by 2030 we'll have one world order. Now, if you listen to the actual video of aliens being, one alien being interrogated, and it's online, still online, 1 and 2, 3 parts, watch them all. I mean, famous people. Whitney Schreiber was there watching it, and they showed him, and he was going, what are they doing to the aliens? What are they doing to the aliens? But he said he was abducted when he was young as well. But that's true. It was an interview. But what the alien is saying is not. But he did say there'll be one person that will destroy the planet. And they were trying to get him to say who it was, who was this person, and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure it's not Trump, just so you know. But in the interim, the New World Order, all right, and if you go to Denver Airport, it's the home base of the New World Order. In the floor in steel, it said Air Force New World Order years ago when it was first opened. They removed it 2 years later. Now, they believe that they have to tell you everything before they do it. They just have to tell you. They don't have to prove it, show it to you. They just have to tell you, and then they could remove telling you what they're doing and do it. Well, you know, anything about Denver Airport, read a book called Behold the Pale Horse and explains a lot about it. I was the only one that had pictures of the floor. Sadly, my computer was hacked when I got back and loaded the pictures in and everything. Nobody has those pictures, but it was for real. I mean, 2 years later, they took the flooring out and put a fountain over it. And they took most of the murals down. There's pictures of the murals up online if you could search, find them, that were up in the main room. It's the airport that has this conveyor belt that goes around. When I went there, I jumped in there showing that it's not for skis, because you hardly ever saw skis in there. But the interim is it's an underground city. And at first, they were using a rock boring machine to bore holes in the walls. I'm going to keep going. I mean, I'll come back to Orbs, but they were boring holes with this machine, grinds the stones, and they would have piles and piles for miles long on the outside of Denver Airport. I'm sure they're still there. But then they came out with a laser machine that could blast a tubular hole through rocks, and they created their tunnels with that. So this subways are circular, and they fit right in there. But again, the tunnels were created all across the United States into all the cities in the underground. And nobody in government mentions that. I wonder why. Now, the home of the New World Order is in the Ozark. Jesse Ventura exposed it many years ago. It's got a 6-foot wall around it, surrounded by guards and everything. And it wasn't even finished when he went there. But underneath it was the direct way to get back into one of the tunnels, which he did. Which somebody said, "Hey, let me show you something." And he took him down, went around the mountain, and went inside, showed you all these tunnels and everything, steel plates in the walls and stuff. Well, again, something incredible happened. If you want to call it incredible, good, bad, or indifferent, they were working down there, and they blasted through a wall, and they found a complete, I don't know what you want to call it, base, top equipment they don't even know, hieroglyphics all over the walls. So whether the New World Order knew there was an alien base right there. Now Denver Airport is going to be a landing base for spaceships in the near future. So depending how bad and how toxic the world becomes, but the underground cities were built for radiation and everything else that's going to happen. People, do you want the truth? Do you want to listen to Trump or anybody? No president talks about the truth, especially about what's happening in the UFO world, which is way beyond anybody's imagination. The government is releasing a ship, should come out by the end of the year, hopefully. It's done. It costs $44 billion, and it's a spaceship. And it has multiple weapons that Tesla created on it. So I'm telling you, the United States will be able to take out a country. Whether Trump's totally involved with it or understands it at all is a different story. Because, I mean, he's threatening Russia. I mean, he was friends with Putin. I'm going to tell you a short story about Putin. The year before months before Trump was elected the first time, on Russian TV, Putin said, and I had a translator translating it when it was on the radio that I was listening to. He said, "I want Trump." Why would he say, "I want Trump to tell the world what really happened at 9/11. Now, I know two people that prophesized it. Both did nothing when it happened. And that one of them was Sean David Martin, my friend that's dead now too. But again, they prophesized it. Now, Sean Martin prophesized everything in detail. All the 3 hits that were going to get hit, everything. But again, he wasn't there trying to stop it the day it happened. I wonder why. I ended my friendship with him for 2 years. But in the interim, people that prophesized it did nothing. If you prophesy something, a prophecy is to help stop something, or there is no reason for the prophecy. Nostradamus gave his prophecy in a warning, but people didn't listen. So the idea of where we're going spiritually, nowhere. The idea Jesus is going to come back is the fallacy created by men and people that think what they prophesied he even taught. They don't even know what Jesus was teaching. He wasn't teaching about forgiveness, people. You could believe it all you want. You need to read Revelations 3 times, and you might get a little bit out of it. That's the most important thing. What sins cannot be forgiven? Read it, because Christians have no clue. And Jesus also said, rich people will never get into heaven. So, Jesus was talking about a lot of things that they don't want to publicize in general. How many rich people are Christians? And if they believe the Bible, why are they keeping millions and millions and billions of dollars? Because they're evil. Musk is doing everything he can this way and that way, but still, he's blowing ships up in space, and he still thinks going to Mars is going to be important. And we're going to have bases on Mars. The world's not going to be in a safe condition in 5 years. We're in trouble every which way. And people would rather sit there saying, oh, everything's okay, it's going to get better. Stephen Greer coming out with his lies. Oh, well, we're going to have a world chant and make it better. Tibet, I considered the most spiritual country on the planet at one time. They prayed, they did meditation all day, all the people and everything, and they were poor. But China went in there, destroyed 250 temples, killed a lot of the lamas, raped the women, put about 1,500 lamas in jail. And a president's wife went out there to try to get them released. I don't know whatever happened with that. But after that, China actually owns Tibet, and it's China. It's not Tibet. But there's one temple they left, so when tourists come, they can go in that temple and think it's still Tibet. But they weren't allowed to say the Dalai Lama. They weren't allowed to use his name or sing something or say something about him. They were arrested or killed. It's a horrible thing that went down. But again, people, when people think prayer is going to save mankind, pray to who? God? God created this world for a reason, people. Aliens for a reason. Races for a reason. But he gave them free will. Everything in this lower realm has free will, and that's why people reincarnate over and over. Because they don't get out of the idea of they think they can do whatever they want. You can't. It goes against spiritual laws. You'll never get into the higher realms of God. You'll never get off of this planet. You constantly create karma instead of getting rid of it. Thinking Jesus is going to come back and forgive you for what? The sins you did? Why? That's called karma. Buddha was right about karma. He's the one that taught about karma and why it makes you reincarnate over and over. And all these people that claim all this bull, well, I can do this, I can do... No, that it's not going to happen. All these people with so-called psychic abilities are lucky to have 2% of a psychic ability. I know. I was a high priest at 17. I worked with... There's 32 psychic abilities. I mean, if you pull them up, you get 120, but throwing bones, throwing sticks, and everything else under the sun. But I'm talking about real psychic abilities. I was getting pretty high up in numbers of them when I was a high priest, learning about all of them. But I learned one thing. You can't use psychic abilities in this world today. Nobody's spiritually aware enough to use it and do it and use it wisely. Even if you say, I can make it rain here, you're changing the weather of rain going somewhere else. No person has those rights, even though they think they do. Even in the UFO world, somebody said something about Richard Dolan's wife. She claims she can levitate things and change energy. Changing energy in water and things like that, I was taught that by the medicine woman I studied with. But levitate, she goes, I can levitate a piece of paper. Well, a famous magician did that trick for a long time. Uri Geller was trying to expose people, then another older magician tried to expose him. The truth is, now I'm going a lot of different places because you probably don't know anything. John Lennon was abducted, and he was given something by an alien race. He hated aliens, and he saw his first ship before it abducted him in New York City, but he was abducted. Now, here's the thing that happened to John Lennon. A week before John Lennon died, he was at a concert in New York and met Uri Geller. and they were sitting together talking. And Uri Geller told them to go up on stage and play with them. And he goes, I did, but before I go, I want to give you this. And he gave him a stone that the aliens gave him. He says, I don't want it. Uri Geller has it to this day in his pocket. Never lets it go, never let anybody else analyze it, check it, or anything. He says, John Lennon gave me this, and I believe it is what he said it is. But John Lennon was killed a week later in New York City. All right. A friend of mine was there on the corner when he got shot. So it's a horrible story. John Lennon was my favorite at that time. But again, when he said he hated aliens, why would he hate aliens? They abducted him and gave him something. He's the only person I know that was actually given something that's still in existence today. All right, they gave him a show. His friend shot a piece of the ship, and he had a piece of the ship, and he had it analyzed by 16 metal companies. And they all said they couldn't make it or create it on this planet, only with lead, not with the metals it was made out of. People were being lied about everything. Why UFOs are over us, why aliens are here, what they are doing. Now, Stephen Greer is fighting with Congress and trying to get people, whistleblowers, to come out and talk. These people are coming out 25 years later, 30 years later. So what? And who cares? I mean, I'm not going to go into all of them, but they're all stories, and they make their story better than whatever it was. All right? Now, when you listen to Stephen Greer, he's got his sites up. He's got an incredible following. I mean, he goes to Congress with the people that are whistleblowers, and they all tell the stories. Aliens are real. The alien interrogation on TV that was shown is real. All right? Now, the operations and all the other alien things were pretty fake, but this one was not. And I'm not going to go into details, but I'm telling you, it was real. All right? So, meaning the government knows what's happening, but you think they could publicly tell us, and you think they're going to tell everybody in government? MJ-12 is the highest clearance secret organization probably in the world. They control everything about aliens in this country, what happens, what's going down, and when they don't like what people say, they take them out. I lost 16 good friends in the UFO world. All right, in the past 25 years. I'm including Fred Bell, Sean David Martin, and my good friend Bob. I'm not going to say his last name. He was my friend since I was 12 years old. His whole family was taken out. People, they don't release certain things. My friend worked for NASA. But people, we are in trouble. And if you think praying and Jesus is going to come back and save you, for what? Do you even believe you deserve to be saved from the stuff you do on this planet? I mean, people saying they're on a mission of Jesus, or they're a disciple, and words that they're using like they're really pure and love and everything. Love was never the answer. Love was created by Jesus. It didn't exist before. Compassion was the word, honor, and that was it. The Ten Commandments, does it mention love in there at any one of them? Now, Moses came out with 63 laws. Read the Bible. Read the first quarter of the Bible. Read the laws he created. No person could live by them. And the Hasidic Jewish people are supposed to live by them now, which is another story. Religions are the greatest story on the planet because Jesus was never a religion. Never claimed to be God. Never was God. All right. He had 32 psychic abilities, which Mary Magdalene had as well, people. And how long did it take them to even recognize Mary Magdalene? I mean, for the first 100 years, they made her into this horrible woman. She was a goddess of the temple, people. But on the interim, she was the one that had to finish teaching the disciples, not Jesus. How could you teach somebody something if you don't know what it is or how to do it? So, but Mary Magdalene and Thomas were the only people that ever left the country. Everybody except one disciple were killed. People that practiced Jesus' teachings were killed. So the messages that you get from people that, oh, Jesus came to save us, forgive us, and all those words, he was on a cross for a different reason. He had to prove what he was teaching. He didn't have to die. He knew it. But how could you teach about eternal soul and reincarnation or staying in the soul body without proving it? He had to die. He had to let his physical body die to show that he didn't die. But the Bible doesn't even get that straight. Oh, he was dying for your sins. No, he wasn't. Everybody has sins to the max or karma. And most people keep creating it. Now, this orb thing is affecting everywhere. Something will happen soon. There's so many ships in the sky that I see in film and everything now. Something's going to go down. All right, what they really want now, even Musk is realizing he doesn't know what's really happening. I've been trying to get in touch with Musk for 8 months. I've been dealing with 9 different. Got to the real one, at least what I think. His supposedly mother even called me on a video call and stuff. I don't believe any of it because I'm trying to talk to him about certain things, and he'd rather talk about giving me a gift and winning a car, winning $100,000, all those kind of things. I said, look, I don't want your money. I just want to talk to you. And they still keep coming and pushing a gift on me. I said, look, I don't want a gift. I'm not trying to get in touch with Musk to give him a gift or get a gift from him. But again, he's one of the people doing things that aren't beneficial to the world, blowing ships up in space, thinking he's going to get to Mars with what he's building. All right, yeah, he's building helicopters and tunnels and with subways, high speed and things like that. But a ship to go to Mars, it has been done. I'm not going to say it hasn't. We have 2 ships that can go to Mars. But again, Trump doesn't believe in aliens, at least that's what he says. But the day after he met Putin, when Putin said, well, 9/11, tell the world what's happened at 9/11, all right, he created a space army. But I didn't tell you the second part of that. He said to Trump, I want you to tell the world what you're doing with aliens. Why would he say that? And then he said, we are working with aliens, but 2 of them want to destroy the planet. Putin said this live on Russian TV. He also said it to Trump's face. But again, what happened with that? First, he was friends with Musk. I mean, they were all friends, and then Musk said no, and Trump's friends with him, and now he's fighting with him. But he's going to meet. He's going to meet him, what, in a week, supposedly, again. Let's see where that goes. I mean, the war thing is something totally different. These people aren't spiritual, so they have no clue what they're doing. I mean, Putin cares about his country, his family, nobody else. People that care about certain things and not the rest are limited in their spiritual growth. While you're here, you got to care about basically everything you can. But you can't pay for everybody's food, pay for their home, no, you can't. And I think you can. Well, Musk could do an incredible job in the United States alone if he wanted to. So can all the other rich people. But I'm going to repeat this over and over, people. Jesus said a couple times, it's easier for a camel to go through an iron needle than a rich person to get into heaven. All right? And he said that way back then. And now we got these multiple rich people doing things that are ridiculously crazy. Like they're going to try to make us eat, what? Roaches? Roach milk? Did you ever hear of that? Check it out. I mean, burgers made out of critters. I mean, are you ready for that? Trying to eliminate cows, farms, and Gates is buying all the farmland he can so they can stop cows. And cows farting don't destroy the ozone layer, people. Oh man, my partner just said she can't get on. She tried everything. Oh man, I'm sorry. She's an incredible person. She's pretty sickly, but she's becoming really famous. And not because she's a storyteller. Well, when I go out, I can see orbs sometimes. At night, it's easier to see them than in the day. All right, I have a picture of a giant orb in the middle of the day. I was with somebody, we filmed multiple things, but he copyrighted everything. And I'm not allowed to show 90%, well, most of the things I shot. I had a few separate pictures I shot myself, which he couldn't copyright. And I don't know if he really copyrighted them all. I'm still trying to find out by law how many he actually could copyright and how much he actually paid for. Copyright a couple thousand pictures must have cost a lot of money. But here's the thing, people. I'm not worried about the past. The past is gone. We got to worry about tomorrow. Not even today. You're in today. And how much you're going to do today. But planning on what you can do, what else you can do to help or bring awareness out. All these people that shot aliens or shot pictures of ships, bring it out. They can't say you're crazy anymore. Now, John Ford, okay, is in the nut house in Long Island. He shot the best video of a UFO crash in Long Island. I went out to where it crashed. But he was arrested claiming that he had a giant barrel of uranium and he was going to kill people in government with it. Really? What's he going to do? Take a cup, fill it up with uranium, go out to a house and he... Really, good luck with that one. You know, and he's still in the nut house since 1996. 1996 was the worst year in the UFO world ever. And you don't hear much about that anymore either. 100 UFO people were killed. 100 top nuclear scientists were killed, all within that 1 year. Bill Snyder was killed during that year, even though they say it was suicide. Now, government takes people out usually by suicide. Or they put them in jail for murder or some serious crime. One of the captains of the ship filmed all the ships and orbs for a long time, had the records, and he was going to release them. They framed him for murder. I was with his family, and his family said they go to see him every month. They can't even get a lawyer to go near the case. It's sad what MJ-12 can do, but I don't know how much Trump really knows about them, how much he can even work with them if he can, and what they're really going to do versus what he wants to do. Well, he wants to destroy everything. That's his goal. He said he was going to be a dictator, and he is. All right. But people are starting to see where he's going, which is to hell. All right. He claimed, he goes, oh, let's bring religion and God back into the picture. Really? He doesn't know God, doesn't know religion. Never mind, he doesn't even know what the Lord's Prayer is, or even being able to follow it. People, we're in trouble. Nobody's going to stop it. Nobody can. If lawyers, judges, anybody gets in his way, he just takes them out. So everything's going to downfall, crash. But what's that going to do to Russia? Now he's going to meet with Putin. And what's he going to tell him? Be good and we'll be good? Really? Or what? Trump's going to start a war with Russia? Well, we will destroy Russia, but that's besides the point. That's not a good thing, no matter how you look at it. Then we got to deal with China. China is preparing to take over the world. You know, we're delusional thinking things aren't getting better in any way. All the New Age people and what they believe, what they think, all the prayers they're putting out there. Saving what? Everything's toxic right now. And Trump's going to make it more toxic. He's taking any kind of protection on water, air, the ground, selling all our farms out, our mountains, and everything. Let everybody do whatever they want on the mountains. No control over pollution. He doesn't believe in global warming. We're in trouble, people. And if you think he's a good person, you know why some people like him? Because he lets people have guns. Another thing that's destroying the United States. If a person got 25 years or 50 years for carrying a gun and stayed in jail, you would see a lot less people carrying a gun. I promise you that. And if you shoot somebody with the gun, you go permanently in jail. Period. With those kind of laws, with no parole, nothing, that's the way it should be. And you'll see how fast it would slow down and cut down on all these shootings. All right. On the other hand, if they wanted to stop the school things, they could put gun detectors in the hall that you have to go through. It's too much money. Trump's trying to end schooling and paid school and all that. He's doing a number on everything. But I don't know what he's planning on doing about UFOs and orbs. The ship should be released within, they said within a year. So hopefully by the end of this year, we'll be able to see it. It looks really cool. Oh, it's got so many weapons on it, though. Now, Putin put out a spaceship for $22 billion. He's got 2 weapons on it. But people, are you aware? And I'm trying to talk to Musk. Sorry, I meant Musk. And his ships and everything else. But what's he going to do with it? Who's he going to sell it to? If he doesn't sell it to the United States, he'll be a traitor. His jet that he created is the fastest jet on the planet. Who's he going to sell that to? He says by the time we could get to a country to bomb them, his plane would be there, bomb them, and be coming back already. All right. So where are we going? War is increasing, and I'm going to tell you why. Nikola Tesla was working with aliens. They gave him 200 inventions. He wasn't a genius. He wasn't a star being. He wasn't from Mars or Jupiter or Venus. He's not an alien, which you're all trying to say, and blah, blah, blah. He wasn't that smart, and neither was Einstein. I mean, he was smart, but not like the smartest person on the planet. Dream visions with aliens in his personal notes. All right, but Tesla worked with an actual alien race, and they wanted to give him good things and bad things, but everything they gave him will eventually destroy the planet. Free energy could be. Now, I'm not going to get into all these things. They all fit together, and there's a reason why they fit together. What aliens want to happen to the planet, why the government's building underground cities. There's a reason for everything. Just because you don't know it, just because you don't believe it, doesn't mean it's not happening. You think Jesus would come back to a hell and save, how many people could he save here? Who would he want to save? You? What do you do for God? Oh, I preach what? You know, Jesus wasn't preaching protection and all those words that they think he was. When he was teaching I shouldn't say homeless people, but the farmers, the fishermen, the people that had very little schooling, didn't know much about anything, he couldn't even use the word God to them. Because don't forget, they had multiple gods in that time frame. To teach one God, all right? And that's why he used the word Father all the time. What man can't understand? Father. Oh, it's an easy word to understand. And that's why he had to use the word his Father. But he never said, me, I am God, and I'm the one that you need. Or nothing like that, ever. Man said one sentence in the Bible when he and I are one. But he didn't mean it the same way that people take it, that he was God. Nobody can become God. No soul, no person, no entity, no alien, no angel can become God. God is God. The Big Bang Theory is a lie. The black hole is another lie. All right, all these things, they're giving it a name, but the Big Bang Theory is the worst theory out there. Just like evolution. We didn't evolve from apes, people. Well, God looks at races and things that he created and makes better things. But it doesn't make it evolve into that. Oh, this came this, and this came that, and that came this. And no, things can't perfectly move forward. Better and better. In coding and genetics and everything, it changes. And things will go worse, not better. Everything doesn't just get better and better and better. We are in a perfect body. If we didn't learn how to destroy it, we'd be living a lot longer and always be healthy. It's man that created the things that make us sick, make us die, make us get older faster, all those things. So aliens, guess what they eat? Guess what their main food is? People. I never believe that. When Phil Snyder was going into a base with a bunch of Green Berets, about 67 people went down into this base. They weren't even told why they were going down in there. And it was an alien base they had to destroy. All the Green Berets except Phil Snyder got killed. And he got blasted with a beam when he was getting out of there. He had a slit from the top of, right down his whole stomach. Half of his hand was blown off and his foot was blown out. Oh, they said, he tried committing suicide. No, he didn't. He lectured for a couple months before they killed him. He was wrapped up in barbed wire, and they said, well, this, that, no blood, nothing. And how did he die? Stories. All right. But he was putting the truth out there. And you don't hear that mentioned much anymore. Because the government puts these other people out saying, well, they knew him and he was a liar, he didn't do this, he didn't do... Well, how do you get rid of a good story? Make a fake story and put it on top of it. All the people that I know that are dead, all right, it was a horrible thing. Because they were just trying to put the truth out. And the government says, no, you can't say that. I'm surprised I'm alive. My ex-partner is still alive, but he's not talking about UFOs all the time. He's talking about Jesus, all right? Jesus isn't around. Jesus doesn't want to live in hell. Jesus is in a higher realm teaching spiritual beings, not whatever you want to call it, people on this planet. The only thing people on this planet care about are the 5 passions of the mind. Sex, drugs, drinking, smoking, sports, and sex. Sex mainly, probably. Drinking and drugs next. But then the worst word is attachment, which mankind attaches to things, whether it's a car, a house, family, animal. It does make them reincarnate. But it's attachments that usually keep people here when they die. Thinking that this is better, that's better. Jesus never tried to make people stay here. And he says when you go into heaven, you'll be in a better place, which you will be. But heaven is just a word. He couldn't even use the words then of the realms of God. And very few people ever travel them. Everybody goes to the astral plane when they die, except the few souls that stay here that don't even get the chance to do that. And they could take life forms and things. All these ghost shows and stuff, I've seen these lights and balls and things floating around the room, and they're spirits, which is another thing that orbs can be. All right? But try not to mix them all together, because when you see an orb in the sky going across the sky, it's not a spirit. All right? And things like that. So there's a lot of different things going on, people, and you're not being shown any truth at all about it. And then you got all these UFO people. Well, I'm going to experience and we're going to see all these beautiful realms and worlds and blah, blah, blah. They're going to help us. And they're going to help us when we're ready. You know, when half of the planet's gone, maybe they'll help us. You know, the native people said they work with the star beings. The star beings were the Greys. 50 million native people were killed. They left 1 million, less than 1 million people here, the white race. All right. So guess what? The Greys didn't help them at all. And then native people also talk about Bigfoot. Bigfoot never helped them either. And Bigfoot's still here. All right. You know, we hear stories and protection and yeah, when something happened, it's a miracle. Jesus did it. God did it. Well, you know, things just happen on this planet, good or bad. Jump in front of a car moving real fast. Guess what happens? You get hit. You might die, you might not. If you live, it's saved you. No, you jumped in front of a car. People, suicide is a way out, but you reincarnate really fast. So when we talk about orbs all around us, and they're not hurting us right now, in any known way that I know or anybody else knows right now. But they're here, and they have been. But the ships that look like orbs or take on an orb, I was filming an orb, trying to, going across the sky. It was bright yellow. I hit it with a green laser, and it turned green for about 3 or 4 seconds, and it turned back to yellow. I hit again with the laser, turned green again. The third time, it just disappeared. Like I said, they let you film them if they want you to. They let you see them if they want you to. But all the people I was with, when we saw really cool things, we didn't have a camera out, obviously. They know certain things. They don't have to talk physically to us. They can feel our energy and communicate, telepathy, and all those other words you want to hear. But it's not a good thing. Nothing good is happening with aliens, people. They're not going to save us. Not going to do anything beneficial for us. They do want this planet. I'm going to tell you this. They want the world radioactive, and the government knows that. That's why they put all the cities underground. Now, another thing nobody can talk about is their cloning greys. Why would we want to clone greys? Cattle mutilations, because they take the stomach and then they use that for an embryo to grow greys in. I'm telling you the truth, if you want to hear it. But why would they want to grow greys? Because when the Earth's radioactive, they could put them out there and doing the work to clean it up. But it'll take a long time. But they've been pumping all the water from California into underground cities already. They've been created hydroponics for underground, not for us in general. Because it's a closed ventilation system underground. I mean, they got the best purifiers, best water, best food, everything down there. All right, people. I gave you a lot of stuff to think about. Any questions, email me, hawksblood1@aol.com. Please. I'm not here to make up stories, to tell you lies. I'm here to tell you, get ready for what's happening. Just because you don't believe in aliens and don't believe in spaceships, don't believe in a good government or a bad government, that's your choice. But the facts are we have less than 5 years before we see our total reality completely change. 5 years, not 2034, 38, 3000 or anything like that. We got 5 years. And you're going to see it changing. And we will probably be in war. Robots will be taken over. And I will be in full control. Just so you know. Even Musk's admitting it. But till then, people, I'm sorry, Tina couldn't come on. She can't get on. They're blocking her signals in England. But till next time, next Thursday, I'll be doing a spiritual show sometime during the week, hopefully. Peace, love, passion, whatever you need in your life, hope you get it. Don't stop until you get the truth. Make sure you can prove it to yourself, whatever that is. The UFO world's crashing. They're going on and on and on about good aliens and this and that. That's all lies. Where's one thing they even gave us? These people that went on these trips and all that. No, it's programming. So think about what you want out of life, what and how fast you can get it, what you want to attain before you die, and what are you doing to find out what happens after you die, which is probably a little more important. Knowing what happens if you die, you're not going to be worried about dying. Not knowing, you're going to be worried. So with that, people, I'll give you clues and help with that on the next show I do, if it's a spiritual show. Till next time, people, tell them where you heard it. If you have any desire, please put this link on everybody's list or email, whatever you can. I think they need to hear the truth instead of all these lies coming from Stephen Graham, people that are putting out these stories. Good stories. Look at the world. Where's the good stories in the world right now? One person gets saved and 100 people get killed. That's not a good story. All right, sex abuse and cells and all that are the worst there is. We still have school shootings. We still have all those kind of things going on, people. Wake up. Look at the real world. Don't live in La La Land where most people live. dreaming or saying things. Don't say something that's not real. And don't say something that you're not going to be here to prove that is a real thing. Most people are not going to be living past 2030. Over 50% of the population of the planet they want to take out. Even the story about where the virus came from. It came from the United States, people. I could go into the details. I just wrote a letter about that to them and stuff, and scientists and doc. They're saying, oh, it was wrong, China. And I said, yeah, it was given to China. Well, with that, people, till next time.